Anyone? Anyone? Oh, still here? Yeah.
Thank you, Araba, for that brilliant presentation. I'm not a footballer, but I did watch 2 matches. I wish you had taken your analysis further, because you would have seen that Africa was not in those quarterfinals, but Africa was fully represented. And you clearly stated that there was an infrastructure behind those footballers. So similarly for agriculture, we have the land, we have the weather, it's just the enabling environment. So I wish you could take that analysis further. What is not on the table? That's why Africa is not on the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we take the last one. Yes.
My name is Patrick Okori. 2 issues. Africa has the youngest population that doesn't have access to the most important thing for growing agriculture, land and the capital assets for it. So all the other things can work, but if you have an aging population and not recruiting young people into the system, you're dead on arrival. So the question is, or the issue we need to think very critically about is, how do we engage this young potential that we have back to making agriculture actually tick? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think from my side, why I know that you are going to process your thoughts, from my side, I think few issues that you brought forward, which were quite important for us to reflect on. The issue of implementation was stressed in the presentation, not just policies, but how do we move from crafting very good policies to implementation. I think that was one area that you talked about. You also mentioned in your lecture that there's need to be interministerial collaboration for agricultural transformation. It can't just be the Ministry of Agriculture, neither just the government, but the private sector. All hands needs to be on deck. And then for me, the last one, which was quite important, is the adage, the proverb that you actually put forward. Wisdom is greater than strength. We need to think, we need to become wise. And I think Africa, from this moment, we need to become wise if we really want to see agriculture transformation. Let me invite Dr. Araba to make a few comments on those issues raised. Over to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. These are very, very good questions. So let me start maybe where I almost ended on the football analogy. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of football. There was an aspect I didn't mention, and I thought, I think I'd mentioned to the ED. I'd gone through 11 iterations of this speech before this morning. I wasn't sure how it would land, but I think it's important. For those who watch the World Cup, you know that if the game of football ended at 80 minutes, we would have had 2 African teams in the quarterfinals, or even semifinals, perhaps. But 90 minutes, the rules are the rules. And so it's not just about what you do. We also need staying power. There's room to do the right things, but do it consistently. There will be a lot of distractions, whether it's a biased referee, a crowd that doesn't appreciate you, the conditions aren't perfect. All that, could be good metaphors for externalities. Russia can invade Ukraine. There can be a blockage in the Strait of Hormuz. The Suez Canal can get blocked. That doesn't mean your march towards prosperity and progress stops. And so we need to imbibe that resilience to ensure that the development of our strategies are robust. So I'll leave it at that. Why are the tools not working? The tools are working, Dr. Fatumi. What we need now are more mechanisms for scaling. And I don't think anyone here can thump their chest with all confidence and say they have the tried, tested, proven scaling conduit. We're trying multiple things at different scales, local level, national level, regional, continental. One example, of course, famously is the Technologies for African Agriculture Transformation, funded and supported by the African Development Bank. I remember at inception, it was one of the most provocative programs in the world on how you would get technologies that existed within not just the CGIR, but the National Agricultural Research Systems. But then also, how could you nudge research organizations to collaborate? Famously, we don't collaborate, to collaborate and also engage with the private sector in a commercial setting. How do we scale these technologies in a commercial context? We say agriculture is a business. If it's a business, then the technology needs to thrive. There needs to be a market that sees value in the technology and wants to absorb it, pay for it, and places a premium on that technology. And so we have a lot of effort going on across the continent to scale technologies. And so it is my hope that even as we go through the decade of Kampala, we pay attention to the technologies that are working and we give them the room to scale. Now, how do you see the appetite for evidence? From partners, I think we're also evolving. So when the Regional Strategic Analysis and Knowledge Support System, RISAX, was built, the world of RISAX's incubation 2006 is completely different from the world today. How research is funded, how research institutions or knowledge institutions are perceived. Academia 2063, I like to define us as a knowledge institution, a research institution and a think tank combined. When we engage with public institutions across the continent, what we see consistently is there is an underlying demand, a latent demand. Maybe if you were even going to extend it into the theories of entrepreneurship, you would say there is non-consumption on what we produce, meaning there is potential demand, but those who would want to use it can't afford it. If we are funded as a non-for-profit and we are funded with public resources, do we share all the innovation for free? Who funds the back or the baseline innovation in the institution? How is that funded? There is a big challenge. Various research organizations are represented here. And I know, in your respective, whether it's your staff rooms or your management boardrooms, there is concern about how we fund research and innovation. Even within Kampala, we have underpriced our ambition, in my opinion. $100 billion over a decade for a sector that will be worth $1 trillion by 2030 in GDP is an underaccounting in terms of how much funding we need to channel into research and development. So when we engage with public institutions, we see the demand. Over, our engagements, whether it's national governments, local governments, various ministries, departments, agencies, they see the value. Whether it's in the Africa Agriculture Watch, the RESAX platform, or the derived insights that come from it. There is knowledge, there's appreciation of the knowledge, and there is utilization. I think we just need to be a bit more deliberate in our engagements with governments, but also how we package these to improve decision-making for public institutions. We have hardware, we have software. I would like to call this policyware. In this age of knowledge and data, we need to be able to improve decision-making for public institutions. When I was being introduced, I had worked as an advisor to the Minister of Agriculture, so this feels like home to me. No, it doesn't feel like, it's literally home to me, I guess. This is home to me. But when you've worked very closely with public institutions, you appreciate the challenges that they are facing. How do you access some data sources that are walled off on paid subscription, for example, or not even aggregated in ways that are meaningful to create insights that improve their decision-making? I'll give you an example. If you're a researcher or you're a scientist, you go to a public official, any public official, let's take climate change. And you tell them, oh, let's say climate change and let's look at El Nino. This year, various models are predicting a super El Nino. But what you shouldn't be telling a public official is, oh yes, the models show super El Nino. What does that do for a minister of finance? What does that do for a minister of works? What does that do for a minister of agriculture? What you give them are the actionable insights. And that's what we need to do now. On youth and agriculture, I think we just need to continue doing what we're doing. Ensuring, first of all, we appreciate that there is a gap, but you know, it's not even. We're seeing an emergence of a new cadre of entrepreneurs, youth entrepreneurs in agriculture. I would say maybe in entrepreneurship, maybe it's less pronounced than in research. We're aging out in the research community. So we need to invest in bringing in a new generation of youth scientists and economists into agriculture and food. Finally, what's not on the table? I almost don't know. And I don't think, I think there's the humility to say you don't know it all or no one knows it all, but we're learning. And over the course of Kampala, I think we should be a bit more deliberate and sensitive to the results of the biennial review. We can't receive static scores and say a country is on course or not on course, and then you move on to the next 2 years. What does that do for a country? How does that help in Nigeria, for example, or in Kenya, or Ethiopia, Ghana, Malawi, Mozambique? If you're telling them you're on course, does that mean we're just, hitting the mark? Or the things that we're doing are the green shoots of further success? What is the agriculture heritage, as I said? What are the things that we need to do to strengthen the foundations of a successful culture in agriculture transformation? I don't have the answer. So maybe, hopefully, by the time you're all retiring to your respective bases by the end of this week, we take something more substantive with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Debussy. Please, let's give him a round of applause. With this, Your Excellencies, we will move quickly to the project or organization pitch presentations. And here, I will be inviting representatives, directors or managing directors of different organizations to come and give us 2 to 3 minutes pitch on why they're here and what they look forward to seeing happen here in this 3-4 days that we'll be convening here. And it's my pleasure in no particular order to invite the Managing Director of Sasakawa Africa Association, Madame Emiko Mutsuyoshi, to come and give her pitch. Please, a round of applause as she comes over to do that. You can come over here. Thank you. Yeah.
Distinguished guests, esteemed partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. Good morning. It is great pleasure to join you at the 9th Africa Agriculture Science Week and the 10th FARA General Assembly here in Abuja. On behalf of Sasakawa Africa Association, I'd like to thank FARA and all partners for convening this important platform under the theme Innovations, Partnerships for Resilient and Sustainable Agri-Food System in Africa. This theme speaks directly to our SAA's mission, experience, and future direction. This year is a special moment for us. SAA is marking 40 years of working with farmers across Africa. Thank you. For 4 decades, we have worked with smallholder farmers, governments, research institutions, extension systems, development partners, the private sector, women, youth, and communities to help bridge the gap between agriculture innovation and farmer adoption. Over these years, one lesson has remained clear. Agriculture transformation does not happen through technology alone. It happens when innovations are placed within strong systems that support farmers from production to post-harvest management, markets, nutrition, finance, and resilience. At SAA, our work is grounded in an integrated agri-food system approach aligned with our 5 years plan, 2026 to 2030 strategic plan. We have 3 strategic focus areas. Through climate resilient and sustainable agri-food systems, we support farmers to adopt regenerative and climate-smart practices, improve soil health, strengthen water use efficiency, and build resilience to climate and external shocks. Secondly, through inclusive markets and agribusiness development, we work to expand structured market participation, improve value addition and post-harvest efficiency, strengthen producer organizations, and enhance farmers' access to finance and agribusiness opportunities. Thirdly, through safe, adequate, and nutritious food systems, we promote nutrition-sensitive production, improve dietary diversity, reduced post-harvest and nutrition loss, food safety, and inclusive nutritious food enterprises. These priorities are supported by our cross-cutting enablers, capacity building, extension systems, and farmer learning, policy advocacy and systems engagement, appropriate technology and management practices, and inclusion, especially of women, youth, and underserved groups. As we look ahead, our focus is on scaling what works. Africa already has many proven technologies, models, and partnerships. The challenge before us is to connect them better, invest in them more strategically, and ensure they reach farmers at scale. That is why partnerships are central to SAA's work. No single organization can transform Africa's agri-food system alone. We need stronger collaboration among research, extension, finance, policy markets, and the private sector. So most importantly, we need to keep farmers at the center of every solution. As Sasakawa Africa Association enters its next chapter, we remain committed to working with partners across Africa to scale practical innovations that improve post-harvest reduce post-harvest losses, strengthen resilience, improve nutrition, create opportunities for young people, and increase incomes for smallholder farmers. So we come to African Agriculture Science Week, ready to learn, to share, and to build partnerships that can turn innovation into lasting impact. Thank you, and I wish us all a successful, productive Africa Agriculture Science Week. Thank you very much.
A round of applause again to Madame Emiko Musiyoshi, the MD of Sasakawa Africa Association. I will move quickly to invite Dr. Thomas Willow, who will be making a pitch on behalf of Africa Rise. Dr. Thomas, a round of applause to him. He's coming. Thank you so much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Thomas Awil from Africa Rise Center. Africa Rise is a leading Pan-African center of excellence for rice research, capacity development, and the institution was established in 1971 with 28 African member states. And Africa Rise is also a CGR center. Our strength and also how we work is with partners at global, regional, and the national levels. These include the CGR centers, the NARS, the NGOs within the different countries within Africa. I'm mostly going to talk about the rice sector, the challenges within the rice sector in Africa, mostly related to low productivity associated with suboptimal productivity, soil fertility, and also the poor infrastructure, especially mechanization, irrigation, and market access. And the other biggest challenge is the policy. The policies that are, I could call it policy somersault because it does not support our farmers. And as a result, we rely a lot on rice imports. The current statistics, we are importing 18 million metric tons. This is costing $6 million USD. And for the whole of sub-Saharan Africa is only Tanzania that is rice self-sufficient. So the work of Africa Rice is to develop innovations that can address these challenges. And some of these innovations include the development of improved rice varieties that are high yielding, flood, drought, iron toxicity tolerant. The multiple harvest rice is the varieties that a farmer can plant once and is able to harvest for 2 to 3 seasons. The hybrid rice now can yield up to 13 metric tons per hectare. And then the apomictic hybrids that are being developed would solve the issue of a farmer needing to buy rice seeds every other season. Then we have also the good agricultural practices like the smart valleys. We have digital tools. One of it is the Rice Advice Lite, which is downloadable from the Google Play Store to support farmers improve nutrient inputs in rice fields. Then in the area of mechanization, we have the rotary weeders and threshers. We have post-harvest technologies like the grain quality and answer, energy efficient and durable material. We call them jumper boilers. Also, Africa Rice has developed now low glycemic index and zinc biofortified rice to handle the issues of nutrition. The impacts of our innovations are documented, but as you can see, these are very low figures compared to the population of Africa. So what that does mean, it means that we need to increase the scaling and use of these innovations. Recently, Africa Rice organized a roundtable discussion in Accra, Ghana. And in that discussion, it was noted that West Africa alone needs 25 billion US investment to achieve rice self-sufficiency by 2030. And in that discussion, some donors already made a pledge of 1.5 million USD. So this means that also we need to increase investment. And these investments also need to be consistent, both from private and public institutions. And as Africa Rice, we come also to FARA Science Week to look for partnerships, both the donors and all of us who can join hands and work together so that we scale these innovations to a larger population in Africa, so that we can reach large number of farmers, we can increase productivity, we can work together to make sure that Africa achieves rice self-sufficiency. Thank you.
A round of applause again to Dr. Thomas. Thank you so much, Thomas. May I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Mercy Wamuyu Njuri from the Global Phosphorus Institute. Is she around yet? Not yet. From SIP, do we have a representative? I don't have a name on my list yet. SIP? Not yet. Let me invite Dr. Victor Afari-Sefa from ICRISAT. Is ICRISAT in the room? A round of applause to ICRISAT.
Good morning. I'm not Dr. Victor Afari-Sefa. My name is Jerome Jonah. In case you know Dr. Victor Afari-Sefa and you say, you are wondering. So my own name is Jerome Jonah, and I'm standing here on behalf of Dr. Afari-Sefa, who, due to unforeseen circumstances, he could not make it here on time, and he asked me to deliver his voice to this wonderful gathering. So Dr. Afari-Sefa is the Global Director for ICRISAT. Sorry, I'm trying to get his speech that he sent to me so that I won't use my own word. Let me use his word directly. Okay. It's a great honor and privilege to stand before you on behalf of Dr. Victor Afari-Sefa, Global Research Program Director for Transforming Agricultural Food System and the International Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, ICRISAT. And at the same time, he is also taking other responsibility as a country director or country representative of ICRISAT here in Nigeria. Dr. Victor sincerely regrets that due to unavoidable delays in travels arrangement, he could not make it here on time, but he will be with us shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, agriculture remains the central to African economic growth, food security, employment, and rural livelihood. Yet, our continent faces unprecedented challenges. Climate change is increasing the frequency and severity of drought, flood, and heat stress. Soil degradation continue to reduce productivity. Pests and disease are becoming more widespread, while population growth is driving an increasing demand for food and feed for nutrition and diet. Smallholder farmers, which is our main client that all of us here are stayed here for, who produce the majority of African food, are disproportionately affected by these challenges. Many still struggle with limited access to quality seeds, improved technologies, finance mechanism, market, and reliable extension services. As a result, crop yield in many parts of the sub-Saharan Africa remain among the lowest in the world, despite enormous agricultural potential of the continent. The challenges call for science, innovation, and strong partnership. This is why precisely ICRISAT is here. For more than 50 years, ICRISAT has been generating science-based solutions for the drylands of Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa as a member of the CGIAR, the world's largest agricultural research partnership. ICRISAT works alongside governments, national agricultural research institutions, universities, the private sectors, the civil society, policymakers, and farming communities to build resilient, inclusive, and sustainable agri-food system for the continent and the global at large across the semi-arid tropics. Our work extends from the headquarters in India, in Hyderabad, to the regional country offices. We are present in West and Central Africa, in Nigeria, Mali, Senegal, Ghana, while in South and East Africa, we are in Ethiopia, Kenya, Malawi, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe. Our mission is simple but ambitious: to improve livelihood, enhance food and nutrition security, and build resilience in the semi-arid tropics through agricultural research and innovations. Across Africa, now, ICRISAT developed improved crop varieties that are highly yielding, climate smart, drought and heat tolerant, and resistant to the major pests and disease, above all, with high dense nutritional content, good for our smallholder farmers who doesn't have access to the biofortified supplement in the supermarket. These innovations are helping farmers to cope with the increasing unprecedented weather and while improving productivity and household income for the rural communities. But improved varieties alone are not enough. A variety has little impact if farmer cannot access the good quality seeds. This is why ICRISAT has made seed system strengthening one of its strategic priority in delivery and reaching out to the smallholder farmers. We support the entire system value chain from plant breeding and variety release through the early generation seed production, seed business, incubation, community seed-based entrepreneurship. This emanates because of the the need for farmers to also have the ownership of the seed system themselves for effective seed delivery system. ICRISAT has also promoted climate smart agriculture, sustainable soil water management, digital agriculture, mechanization, nutrition sensitive agriculture, market system, and agribusiness development, ensuring that scientific innovation translate into real benefit for the farming communities. Here in Nigeria, ICRISAT work with a lot of stakeholders, which most of them are here. And our focus in Nigeria, strategic dryland crops, sorghum, millet, groundnut. Recently, we're also looking at the orphan crops like the pigeon pea. And of course, we are also working on finger millet and chickpea as well. Together with our partners, we have developed and promoted improved crop varieties that are helping farmers achieve high yield, better resilience to drought and disease, and improve grain quality as well as biofortified varieties. Beyond crop improvement, ICRISAT has support early generation seed production, community-based entrepreneurship using the farmer field school model that strengthens ownership of the technologies by our local farmers. We also recognize that agricultural transformation cannot happen without inclusion. Of course, we're talking about youth and women here. Without them, the agricultural sector can still remain backward because they are essential drivers and innovators in the enterprise of agriculture and the rural economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, at ICRISAT, we believe agricultural transformation is not simply about producing more food. No, it's more than that. But it is about transforming entire agri-food system from research laboratories to farmers' field and seed system and market. As you visit the exhibition area, I warmly invite you to also visit ICRISAT booth. You will learn more about ICRISAT. On behalf of Dr. Victor Afari-Sefa and the entire ICRISAT family from the headquarters, we're saying thank you for this platform and thank you. See you again.
Thank you so much for the presentation on behalf of ICRISAT and on behalf of Dr. Victor Afari-Sefa. I'll move quickly to invite the young people in the room. We have Mr. Gena Tesda to speak on behalf of YPAD. Is the lady, sorry. Please, a round of applause to the lady. Gena, welcome. Thank you. Sorry for thinking you are a man.
No problem. I love it when things start out with a chuckle. Things should start out with a chuckle for the young people. Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, young people. Across Africa, and indeed the world, women and young people are already driving innovation systems and agri-food systems. We are producing food. We're conducting research, building agribusinesses from scratch, and shaping truly the future and the present of our agri-food systems. Yet all too often, we remain underrepresented where the most important decisions are made in our own institutions, the ones that are sitting in this room today. Over the years, we have developed strong policies, gender and youth engagement strategies. We've made important declarations and commitments. However, we still know and must admit to ourselves that youth and gender topic progress remains to be seen. Food and nutrition insecurity still disproportionately affect young people and women, but we know that this also represents an unprecedented opportunity. So today, we invite us to take the step from commitment, potentially on paper, to commitment and action, commitment as a community. On behalf of YPAD, on behalf of CORAF, AgriNatura, and FARA, I am humbled to together represent the International Research Consortium on Food, Nutrition, Security, and Sustainable Agriculture, or IRC, under the See It First initiative, to launch the Gender and Youth Engagement Pledge campaign. This campaign is a simple but powerful call to action. We invite every institution represented here in this room today and over the course of this week to make commitments. You need to commit to one practical commitment for gender and youth action over the next 12 months. This is our call to action to strengthen meaningful engagement of women and of young people. Your pledge does not need to be large. It needs to be real, and it could take courage. Your commitment could be increasing representation of women and youth in leadership or governance structures, like your boards or advisory bodies. It could be establishing an institutional gender or youth focal point within your institution. It could be creating strong mentorship opportunities for young and female professionals. It could be creating strong internships, fellowships, or leadership opportunities, supporting young innovators, perhaps through hackathons, and of course, strengthening partnerships with youth-led and women-led organizations. Every institution will have a different journey. What matters is making a commitment and following through. We are here to walk this journey together. This campaign is not about making promises for today, for a flashy microphone or a camera. It is about creating measurable action that we can celebrate together over the coming year, while demonstrating our collective commitment to building a more inclusive, innovative, and resilient food system. Therefore, we invite all institutions to join this campaign by making one institutional pledge. Inform us of your pledge so we can spread the news on our website, on social media, and then, of course, show the results of what you've done once you've implemented that change in your institution. For more information, of course, please approach us, my colleagues from our collaborating institutions, on the Gender and Youth Engagement Pledge campaign. Visit our website, and we also have a side event on Tuesday from 4 to 6:30. So join us. Pledge for Gender and Youth Action today.
A round of applause again to Gina. Thank you so much, Gina, for your kind words. And I think you can have the feel of the room that we need to get the youth on board. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point, permit me to invite Dr. Ramasamy Savaraju to give us a pitch on FAO. A round of applause to him as he comes to make his speech.
Good morning, colleagues, friends, and distinguished delegates. My name is Selvaraju Ramasamy. I'm working as a senior officer with the Office of Innovation, heading a unit on research, biotechnologies, and extension. Of course, for many of you, I'm not very new. I know most of our colleagues and friends, including many friends in FARA and the AFAS and RU Forum. My pitch here is I should say, it's more than a pitch. I would like to insist and to say that investment in agriculture research and development, agricultural education, and agricultural extension and advisory services is critically low. Suppose if you look at the investment, the global investment in agriculture research for development, and on average, we invest only 72 cents for every $100 US of agriculture GDP. It is less than 1% of the total agriculture GDP is invested in agriculture research for development. If you look at the low income countries, and this is much lower, it's only 32 cents for every $100 of agriculture GDP. It's much less than 1%, which is 0.032% of the agriculture GDP is invested in agriculture research for development. Over the years, FAO and also several partners and in multilateral fora, and also the National Agriculture Research Systems, Extension Advisory Services, and agriculture universities, they stress this low investment in agriculture education, research, and extension. And thus, scaling up of this investment is critical at this point if you really want to transform the agriculture and agri-food systems. So agri-food system transformation, make it more efficient, inclusive, sustainable, and resilient, which needs more investment. Well-funded agriculture research and development systems play an important role in transforming agri-food systems and helping countries to achieve sustainable development goals. The advantage of investing in agriculture R&D are also clear from looking at the past, especially during the Green Revolution and also afterwards, especially focusing on the sustainable natural resources management. So my point here is we shouldn't forget about the investment for agriculture education, research, and extension advisory services. With that, I would like to highlight 3 major points. The one is increase the public sector investment in research and development, education, and extension. Of course, the private sector investment is already growing, but we need more investment of the public sector in these 3 major domains. Strengthen both institutional and technical capacities. Of course, in some extent, we need to create new institutions, but not always it is necessary. We need to focus more on strengthening the institutional and technical capacity of existing universities, centers of excellences, and also the regional and national agriculture research systems, extension and advisory services. We want to seek transformative partnership that is capable of sharing knowledge on research and education, and also sharing of research infrastructure among the researchers, both at the regional, at the national level, and also promote the scientific exchange. So these are the 3 important points that I would like to highlight. And with that, I'm going to host a side event tomorrow afternoon between 2 and 4, which focuses on regional agriculture innovation systems, the current status, and also the gaps and the way forward, how we can really enhance the opportunities along the 3 lines that I have stressed here during today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for making it as brave as possible. A round of applause to Dr. Sevaraju. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we are coming close to closing this session, but there are a few announcements I want to make. One is that we have internet facility here that you can just log into. Search for the one Abuja Continental. You don't need a password for it. That will give you access to the internet. The second thing, which is also important, is that we are proceeding for tea, coffee break now. Shortly after a little presentation that we follow, we proceed for coffee break. And the people sitting on the white chairs, there's actually a special room for the VVIPs. If you go out by your left, there is a room there for you to have your coffee break. The rest of the people, quite very nice place for us to also have a coffee, interact, as well as engage with each other. The last, but not the least, but very important, which I want you to wait for 2-3 minutes before we go for a break, is that the hotel management is here and they would like to give us some security tips. I don't know whether Mr. Mohammed is around now, or maybe he can do it later. Is he around the hotel? Anywhere, we are safe, so that we come tomorrow. With this, I'd like to say good morning and thank you so much for your participation in this session. Let's have a wonderful coffee, tea break for the next 15 minutes, and then we come back when the ministers of agriculture and livestock will be joining us and other dignitaries. Thank you. My name is Dr. Godwin Atse. I'm the country director for Sasakawa Africa Association, based here in Nigeria. Thank you. must understand agriculture. We must understand agriculture.
The second one is increased income, especially among women and the youth. And lastly, sustainable and inclusive food systems in Africa and Europe.
From research to real impact, StepForce is empowering Africa to transform food security policies into lasting change by uniting science, innovation, and leadership.
In June 2025, 23 agri-food researchers convened in Kigali, Rwanda, for the 2025 Dimitra Modeling Training Workshop. Dimitra, which stands for Dynamic Equilibrium Model for Economic Development, Resources, and Agriculture, is a tool that helps researchers understand how different policies or unexpected events can affect a country's economy and its people. It's especially useful for exploring the potential effects of food security policies before they are implemented.
We brought together researchers within the PANAP network across the continent to build their capacities to be able to influence policy.
Participants have been introduced to the core structure of the Dimitra model, how to navigate the GAM software environment, how to convert policy option into modeling simulation, and how to interpret in modeling outputs. We discussed a lot how the model can be adapted to real policy scenarios in specific national context to provide evidence-based decision-making.
The Dimitra training gave me a way of thinking on the very policy-relevant research. And because with CJE, with a model like Dimitra, you are able to implement research, or you are able to simulate research policies and offer economic-wide impacts, which are not available in most partial equilibrium studies or econometrics.
The training was highly practical, with participants working in small groups to apply the Dimitra model to real-world policy scenarios. This hands-on approach gave them a clear understanding of how to use the tool for economic and food system policy analysis.
And so it was refreshing to have instructors that were literally at our beck and call, very willing to help. Every time we encountered a roadblock during our group tasks or during the hands-on exercises, they were always willing to help us point out what was wrong. We could quickly fix issues, move on, and even complete our tasks, which was really great.
We expect that these people who have been trained here are going to train others wherever they are going, and we expect that they will mentor others wherever they are, and then we will have a strong network of policy analysts in Africa.
With the prospects for youth involvement in African agriculture, it is imperative that they are properly empowered to do so. If fulfilled, the youth will be innovators, inspirational visionaries, and transformative leaders in the food system. This will help secure well-paid jobs for them and subsequently lead to food security. The Agri-Youth Africa Empowerment Project is an effort by the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, the Young Professionals for Agricultural Development, and the African Leadership Academy to help young people become effective contributors to the development of sustainable food systems. This project offers young people the tools, information, skills, and mindsets they need to reach their full potential in different areas of agriculture. At the opening of the Agri-Youth Africa Empowerment Initiative, John Agbula, the Global Project Specialist for the AGCO Agriculture Foundation, said that food security can't be achieved without the active participation of young people. This he based on the FAO's projection that by engaging young people in agriculture, we can increase food production by up to 60%. Also, Dr. Lorena Maxwell, a plant pathologist at World Vegetable Center, attributed the limited involvement of youth in decision-making in the sector to the youth's inadequate knowledge about the sector. And to stress the need for the youth's capacity to be built, forget Sharika, a farmer and agronomic engineer with Chelsea Foods, advocated that emerging experts be connected with established professionals for development and guidance. In line with this, the Agri-Youth Africa Empowerment Project is a mentoring program with themes of policy and advocacy, entrepreneurship, research, farming, extension, communications, and ICT. It focuses on equipping youth to be change champions, drivers of adoption of climate-smart technology, and overall promoters of good practices in the sector.
It's a great pleasure for me to say a little bit about the work that FARA is undertaking within the context of the science agenda for agriculture in Africa. We are convinced that your agriculture is as good as your science. And this is something that has propelled FARA to come up with the initiative called HELP, H-E-L-P, Holistic Empowerment for Livelihoods Program. Now, within this program, we felt it compelling to set up an initiative that will help us to build Africa's capacity for research and innovation over the next 10 years.
In May 2018, representatives from FARA visited the Federal University of Viçosa for the first time. We started discussions about how the university could cooperate with FARA for the development of agriculture in Africa. We had good reasons for high expectations about this partnership. UFV has a long tradition of excellence in teaching, research, and extension, especially in areas related to agriculture and food. And FARA is the apex organization in Africa responsible for coordinating and advocating for agricultural research for development. Now we are glad to see that UFV has become one of the most important institutions to contribute to ARIFA.
In 2020, UFV may host up to 180 ARIFA fellows in short courses related to Brazilian agribusiness and in master programs on agriculture and food. The short courses taught in English are part of an initiative called the Brazilian Agribusiness Program. And the UFV-FARA Master Partnership will offer places for ARIFA fellows in all agriculture-related UFV graduate programs for a master's degree that usually takes 24 months. The programs involved include the ones with the highest evaluation by the Brazilian Graduate Assessment System.
More than a capacity development initiative, ARIFA has been designed with the innovation systems thinking to empower young Africans with the 21st century skills that are needed for the continent to navigate through the current global challenges, including climate change, and now with the implementation of the Africa Free Trade Agreement.
What Africa needs today is to establish unconventional partnerships, to be innovative in creating opportunities for youth, and most important, to preserve local talent within the continent.
On behalf of the Federal University of Viçosa, I want to welcome the ARIFA Fellows on our campus, and we will do our best to give them a warm reception and show them the practice and technologies that allowed Brazil to become one of the top agricultural producing countries in the world.
we have been in a working visit with the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, one of Nigeria's very important parastatal. At the close of this very important meeting, FARA and 10th Fund Nigeria signed an MOU that places all the opportunities that FARA has in the context of the FARA Brazil institutions collaboration at the reach of 10th Fund and indeed the Nigerian populace. The African Research and Innovation Fellowship in Africa can now begin to see how we can use all the instruments in our hand to strengthen Nigeria's capacity to deploy science in agriculture and agribusiness.
After the formal meetings that we had dissecting the areas of partnership, cooperation, and understanding, we have agreed and subsequently proceeded to sign on behalf of 10th Fund, myself, and on behalf of FARA, an MOU that expresses the areas of interest. 10th Fund is funding public tertiary institutions in Nigeria, essentially universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, and research is more recently the main priority.
We don't have 50 years. All I have is 10 years. How can we make it?
With the coming of ARIFA, our mindset has now completely changed from focusing on basic research to applied research. Because for many years in this country, we have been neglecting the concept of innovative research.
This ARIFA is a very good and innovative initiative, and it has been a very good thing, at least to be able to disseminate information about what agriculture is all about, not only in my university, but the community, and to look at agriculture as like agribusiness. How do we market some of these things to a community and other states? So it has been a very good experience, very innovative and very original to FARA.
As a new university that has embraced a disruptive educational model under the conventional model, I found this ARIFA FARA partnership to be something that we need to learn from. I decided to be part so that our interest in the program can further be emphasized.
From our own end, we try as much as possible to see. We mobilize scholars and send them to Brazil so that we can go and explore that vision.
We are now reorienting our approach from just having students conduct any kind of research just to acquire a certificate, but the end result they will not make any use of it. No. So we want to tailor our attention now towards areas that are priority needs within the communities.
Well, it's been interesting and challenging at the same time. It has opened my eyes to a lot of areas where we need to top our technology and then carry out some things that we normally see as ordinary, but which could actually be translated innovatively to get more results.
It has been an interesting journey. I think it's about 1 year plus now we have started, and it was fun looking after the students before some of them left for Brazil, and there has been wonderful learning and relearning under ARIFA.
For me, it's a dream come true because there's been this lacuna between research and application or implementation of research. My experience for the past few years has been that most of the research outcomes, they end up in the shelf, but you now have a tailor-made research program that can translate to products. It can be now used to enhance job creation.
We had a smooth takeover. I think we already have some kind of facilities to kick off. And I think we are the first to start the ARIFA program in Nigeria because of the facilities on ground in my university.
So we just started and it was going on smoothly.
The partnership between 10th FARA with the Federal University Vicosa in Brazil is a very commendable project, and the fund is ready and committed to put in the funds.
FARA have a goal of training 5,000 fellows in the next 10 years. When I listened to the presentation, I even felt that, is it not this number inadequate? We need to increase this number because of the value of this program to Africa.
In Ghana, agriculture is a vital source of income for many. Yet, post-harvest losses, particularly of perishable vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, okra, and garden eggs, continue to threaten food security and livelihoods. To contribute to addressing this challenge, in January 2025, a Post-Harvest Innovation Challenge, organized by the Post-Harvest Innovation Hub of the University of Ghana, with support from the Feed the Future Innovation Lab for Horticulture and the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, brought together 19 women and youth agripreneurs with startups focused on reducing these losses.
And so we do believe that to be able to curb these losses, one of the areas that we can use is value addition or processing. So we put out this Post-Harvest Innovation Challenge for people to look at the value chain after harvest, going towards the consumer. Now we are also looking at indigenous crops because these crops are crops that we find in our localities. They are very common to us, yet we don't consume them as we should. And they are found to be very nutritious. They are found to be resilient to some of the climate issues that we are facing right now. So this challenge is looking at solving two issues at the same time: the post-harvest loss issues and also trying to get people to eat healthier.
After a one-week intensive training in business, product development, and marketing, participants pitched their post-harvest solutions for prize awards to help scale up their innovative solutions. As part of follow-up efforts, the Post-Harvest Innovation Hub team visited the 2025 award winners to verify their innovations and products on the ground. Among them was Fred, team leader at Pharmacy, a technology-based startup working on a low-cost cold storage facility made from locally available materials to help okra farmers in his community reduce post-harvest losses. The team also visited Sandra, founder of Nana Papa Company Limited, who is adding value to cocoyam leaves, a highly consumed vegetable in Ghana, by processing and packaging them for extended shelf life and wider market reach.
And so this funding goes to help us buy equipment to scale our operations. We're currently not able to meet demands on the market. And so we're buying consumer cutters, we're buying blanchers, we're buying a vacuum machine, and then other supporting things to be able to scale our business and then meet more people on the market.
All the way in the Upper West region of Ghana is Nelia Foods, a promising startup that's tackling post-harvest losses by adding value to locally grown produce.
My name is Ghana Cornelia. I'm the founder and the team lead for Nelia Foods, and we are located in the Upper West region, Ghana. And we do process natural food products. What we do is to source out fresh natural foods from smallholder farmers, and we process them into powdered packaged products for consumers.
By processing and packaging vegetables and natural food spices sourced from smallholder farmers, Nelia Foods is not only extending shelf life, but also creating market opportunities and supporting livelihoods in the region.
The reason why we chose entrepreneurs who had been in business for at least a year is that they would be able to extend their product line and come up with more products. Our main aim is to improve nutrition, improve the diets of Ghanaians. So we are hoping that those who receive the grant will be able to improve on what they are doing, and in the process be able to make these indigenous crops more available all year round for consumers.
We want to discuss the issues of policies, coherence itself at all levels, the national level, regional level, and continental level. So at the end of this 2 days interaction, we'll be coming up with a validated report on the mapping of CSA initiative at continental level. I think after now we will be having presentations on that, and we want to find a way to get the stakeholders validation. Then we want to find a validated report on policy coherence for the implementation of CSA in Africa. Then we want to have develop the focus for the next biennial CSA conference. I think Dr. Emi mentioned that in his opening remark. The biennial conference we had in December last year has been a landmark event, and we are expected to carry on this every 2 years, at least as the first set of instruments for collating progress and reporting appropriately. Then we will be coming up with a policy brief as an instrument for engagement with the policymakers.
In the last couple of decades, our continent has gone through different phases of what I describe as cyclical abiological shocks. And these shocks range from all sorts of climatic events that have overwhelmed our cropping systems, talking about farming, talking about flooding, talking about the lack of equipment to be able to conduct the right kind of research on the continent.
Southern Africa is one of the unfortunate regions in the world. This is a region where 70% or more of the people depend on agriculture for direct livelihoods, for food security, as well as for income. So when you have such a huge problem with climate change and the effects that it's having on production, it becomes a source of worry for the government as well as the communities.
Food and nutrition security remain the key priority that African government have to tackle. There are currently studies that show that the demand for both fresh and processed food will keep rising to the extent that the total retail value of food product shall increase up to 400% between 2010 and 2030.
We had a meeting and we came up with the idea of having a Science for Agriculture consortium that will bring CORAF, Asareka for Eastern and Central Africa, and CARDESA from Southern Africa, together with FARA and AFAS to form one unique platform that will be advocating for resources, for research, development, and extension.
The 5 key output areas of the CADAP SB4 program are strengthening capacity of African regional and sub-regional agricultural research organizations to perform their individual mandates and to better work together, multi-stakeholder partnerships for innovation established and in operation, strengthened national policies, regional institutional arrangements, and market access, knowledge management and communication for decision support, sharing innovation and advocacy related to climate-relevant agricultural transformation, and effective planning, coordination, monitoring, evaluation, learning, and reporting.
Because the extension workers and advisory services are the frontline workers who interface with the farmers directly for innovations, new technologies, knowledge, information, and so on. That's where the biggest contribution can go into, so that they can effectively inform, interact with farmers, first of all to mitigate climate change, but also really to improve on their incomes, their management of soils, and of course livelihoods, and contributing to the overall GDP of their countries. That's the area to invest in.
The CADAP XP4 program offers a great opportunity and even a timely injection to the national partners to build capacities that allows the agricultural sector effectively contribute to the growth we all expect in the region.
We've received some support from the European Union through the International Fund for Agricultural Development. All these problems we've seen will be attended to through this project. And I would like to thank the European Union for this support that has been given to the region.
There is also the common saying that when you are many, you are stronger than when you are alone. So working together, it may slow down some of us, or some might think that they are being slowed down. But in the end, I believe that moving together takes us very far together. That's the other challenge that is being solved. I think this is a very unique opportunity to look inwardly and see how can we really organize ourselves so that the same way in the Kora region, we use the region to push domestic agendas in the country. Here we are using a continental framework to push for development solutions within our different sub-regions.
We count on your usual support, and we hope, God willing, we will be able to have an African-financed, African-supported homegrown solutions. Thank you.
The Consortium Europe-Africa on Research and Innovation for Food Systems Transformation, CFIRST, is a bicontinental effort between the European Union and the Africa Union to operationalize the International Research Consortium, a long-term platform on food, nutrition security, and sustainable agriculture in line with the FNSSA roadmap of the AEU High-Level Policy Dialogue. CFOS is operationalizing the International Research Consortium in two key phases. The consolidation phase focuses on laying the groundwork by developing knowledge management tools, updating the FNSSA database, and formulating key strategies for the IRC, including gender and youth integration. Building on this foundation, the pilot phase will establish the IRC Secretariat and governance structures, foster a large learning environment, and launch operational working groups and key IRC services, including the IRC Knowledge Management Platform. The IRC will address the fragmentation and inefficiency in the FNSSA research landscape by enhancing coordination and institutional collaborations, improving funding mechanisms, and fostering knowledge sharing to create a more strategic and impactful ecosystem. So far, 65 African and European institutions are signatories to the IRC. The International Research Consortium is a game-changing enabler for scaling innovations in food, nutrition security, and sustainable agriculture. Join the International Research Consortium today. It is an exciting opportunity to contribute to food systems transformation for generations to come.
Distinguished stakeholders and friends of FARA, I am thrilled to introduce the upcoming 9th Africa Agriculture Science Week. This landmark edition marks a journey that began 24 years ago with our first Science Week in Maputo, Mozambique. The 9th edition will be held in Abuja, Nigeria from the 27th to the 30th of July 2026. The theme of this event is Innovations and Partnerships for Resilient and Sustainable Agri-Food Systems in Africa. At this event, conversations and commitments will focus on the strategies we must scale up and the bold shifts we must make to safeguard the continent's food systems against increasingly unpredictable shocks. The activities of the 9th Africa Agricultural Science Week are structured around 4 mutually reinforcing sub-themes. The first sub-theme is on emerging technologies and innovations. The second sub-theme is on climate resilient agri-food systems, recognizing Africa's acute vulnerability to climate change and its impact on food security. We have dedicated a sub-theme to climate resilience. The third sub-theme, titled Nutrition health, and urban food systems examines the vital intersection of agriculture, food safety, and public health. The fourth sub-theme addresses the critical enablers of innovation-driven food system transformation, specifically focusing on policy, finance, institutional frameworks, and capacity building. The event will feature plenary sessions, including a high-level roundtable of thought leaders and policymakers. It will include anchor parallel sessions for each theme and focused meetings. It will also feature an exhibition for showcasing impactful innovations. The final day of the event is dedicated to the 10th FARA General Assembly, a milestone event featuring the announcement of the incoming FARA chairperson for the next 3 years. The Africa Agriculture Science Week promises 4 inspiring days of learning and networking as we collaborate to build the resilient agri-food system Africa needs. On behalf of FARA, the federal government of Nigeria, and our co-organizing partners, I warmly invite all actors across the agricultural development landscape to join us in Abuja from the 27th to 30th July 2026. Join us. Let's connect and collaborate to build resilient, sustainable, and innovative agri-food systems for Africa. Today, as we mark World Food Day and celebrate the 80th anniversary of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, I extend congratulations to FAO for 8 decades of consequential leadership in the global effort to end hunger. For 8 years, FAO has been a trusted guide, convener, and thought leader in helping nations produce, share, and secure food for their people. This remarkable legacy inspires us to keep striving because the journey to zero hunger is far from over. This year's theme, Hand in Hand for Better Food and a Better Future, captures the urgency of our time. Across Africa, food systems face serious pressures. Climate change is disrupting harvests, economic shocks are making food less affordable, population growth is stretching already scarce resources. These challenges demand collective action, fresh ideas, and strong partnership. At the Forum for Cultural Research in Africa, we are working with the sub-regional cultural research organizations, namely Sarika, Cadesa, Coraf, and NASRO, as well as with AFA Central Forum, plus other partners including FAO, the CGIAR, and our funders, to ensure that science and innovation in food and agriculture directly serves farmers, consumers, and businesses. But we cannot do this alone. Achieving food and nutritional security requires actors in governments, in research, academic, and extension institutions, farmers, civil society, and the private sector to stand together. Only through collaboration can we attain food systems that are productive, nutrition sensitive, inclusive, and sustainable. On this World Food Day, let us renew our shared commitment. Together, we can create a future where Africa not only feeds itself, but substantially contributes to feeding the world. Happy World Food Day.
All right. Still morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. While we await the arrival of very, very important persons that will be joining us this morning/afternoon, there is a very important aspect that we need to handle at this time so that we can make judicious use of time. And that relates to safety
I will be inviting the management of this hotel to speak to us briefly on safety issues as it relates to the use of these facilities. Let me invite Mr. Mohammed to come and talk to us and give us ideas, some tips on what to do in case we do not pray for any eventuality, but if anything arises, what should be our response? Over to you, Mohammed.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to Abuja Continental Hotel. My name is Saleh Mohammed. I'm the Hotel Safety Manager. For your safety and security, it is important we tell you the protocols as regards the use of this hall, so that from beginning till the end of the program, we will not record any incident. However, before I go further, in case you have not visited our convenience and there's a need for you to do so, it is very easy to locate. If you are using this particular main entrance door, just go straight. Opposite this door is where the convenience is located. As we get there, there are two doors close to each other. The door to the left-hand side is for the female convenience, while the door to the right-hand side is for the male convenience. Please, we advise you always look before you enter, so that you don't find yourself in a wrong destination. If you are following the other door, just turn to the right. The description remains the same. Aside that, we don't have a plan to do a fire drill today. Therefore, should there be a steady ringing of fire alarm bell that lasts from 5 to 10 seconds or beyond that, that suggests that something is wrong somewhere or is a false alarm. However, whatsoever the reason may be, please do not panic. Be calm, because we have emergency response team members on ground to do the needful should something go contrary to our expectation. Then, if evacuation becomes necessary, we have two assembly points. One, you can go out through either this door or the other door there. Just walk straight to the main entrance of the Ladi Kwali Hall. There are 3 exit doors there. Just gently go out through any of the exit doors. As soon as you go out, turn to the left. You see the muster point where you are expected to assemble based on your group, as others are also having their event within the Ladi Kwali Hall. If assembling will not be possible there for whatsoever reason, you are advised to go to our alternative assembly point. And you can get there by following any of these 4 exit doors to my left-hand side. As soon as you go out, turn to the left, you start seeing directional signages that will take you to the alternative assembly point. Then, on the security aspect, as we all know, this is a public place, though it's a controlled environment. It is therefore important that your personal valuable belongings, more especially your mobile phone, should not be left unattended. Should you have a cause to leave where you are seated, maybe going to the convenience, lunch, or whatsoever your reason may be, so that you don't have a cause to complain of either loss, damage, or misplacement of any item. Just like other organizations, Abuja Continental Hotel will not be liable for that. So please be guided. We pray there will be no medical issues, but should there be any concern, please feel free and talk to any of our staff. Our attention will be drawn to it. We have certified first aiders on ground to do the needful. And whatsoever beyond first aid, we have a hospital just a 5-minute drive away from the hotel. You'll be referred to for better treatment. So without wasting your time, on behalf of the management, I wish you a successful program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those security tips, which are quite necessary for our stay here for the next 3-4 days. I'm told that the representative of Global Phosphorus Institute in Morocco arrived. She was or he was supposed to make a pitch, but unfortunately was not available. So at this point, may I invite Dr. Mercy Wamuyum Ngunjiri to come over and give her pitch on behalf of GPI. A round of applause to her. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, we are 8 minutes short of the noon. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to introduce the Global Phosphorus Institute and to share why we believe phosphorus should be recognized as one of Africa's strategic resources for achieving food security, resilient agri-food systems, and sustainable economic growth. So the Global Phosphorus Institute is headquartered in Bengueril, Morocco, and our work is to advance a responsible pea management through science innovation, policy engagement, and strategic partnerships, ensuring that phosphorus contributes to agricultural productivity, environmental sustainability, and long-term resource stewardship. So as we gather here for the 9th Africa Agriculture Science Week, under the theme of innovations and partnerships for resilient and sustainable agri-food systems in Africa, I would like to begin with a simple question, and this is, can Africa sustainably transform its agriculture without transforming how it manages phosphorus? Of course, the simple answer is no, because phosphorus is very essential and very fundamental to healthy soils, crop productivity, food production, and nutrition. And of course, as you're aware, I know there are so many soil scientists in the room, phosphorus remains very deficient in our soils within the continent, and many countries continue to depend on imported phosphate fertilizers. At the same time, we have very valuable phosphorus is very lost through inefficient fertilizer use, food loss waste, untreated wastewater, and poorly managed livestock manure. So these are not just agricultural challenges, but these are challenges of food security, challenges of climate resilience, economic competitiveness, resource security, and sustainable development. So more importantly, they represent significant investment opportunities, which is one of the key focus area of this conference. So the question is how Africa can invest in smarter phosphorus systems that improve productivity, strengthen soil health, enhance fertilizer security, reduce nutrient losses, and create even new business opportunities within the continent. So our work at GPI, the Global Phosphorus Institute, extends beyond generating scientific knowledge. So for us, sustainable pea management cuts across the entire value chain of phosphorus. Think of it from soil intelligence to investments that improve the phosphorus use efficiency, to investments in phosphorus circularity, to strengthening regional fertilizer value chains. And finally, sustainable investments, of course, require strong institutions and partnerships capable of translating science into policy and coordinating across sectors, which is the theme that we have today on innovations and partnerships. So one of the Global Phosphorus Institute initiatives is the African Phosphorus Platform for Food Security, APPFS. So the platform brings together governments, regional organizations, research institutions, development partners, the private sector, across all sectors within the continent. And we are working with countries to help to develop investment-ready national phosphorus strategies. So pretty much about the platform, the African Phosphorus Platform for Food Security, instead of implementing directly, APPFS connects the governments, the regional economic communities, the research institutions, private sector, development sector, and the civil society to map ongoing initiatives, identify collaboration opportunities, reduce duplication, and promote coherent phosphorus stewardship across the continent. In the short term, the platform will focus on establishing a comprehensive who does what mapping. So we want to create a who does what mapping and create a database, producing policy relevant knowledge products strengthening digital visibility, facilitating technical dialogue, and supporting, of course, implementation of the Africa Fertilizer and Soil Health Action Plan. So this is very much fully aligned with the 9th Africa Agricultural Science Week. And going forward, GPI sees tremendous opportunities to work with FARA and its partners, who we are all represented here. And actually, FARA is one of the founding members of the African Phosphorus Platform for Food Security. So we would really want to invite all institutions represented here to partner with GPI, with the African Phosphorus Platform for Food Security, so that we can be able to generate the evidence, build the partnerships, mobilize investments needed to transform phosphorus from an overlooked nutrient to more of a strategic driver of Africa's agricultural and economic transformation. I'll be available this afternoon also for a side event. In case you have any more questions or any questions, we can have an interactive session during that time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Messi, for your presentation. While we wait for the arrival of our hosts, the honorable ministers of livestock, as well as that of agriculture and food security, this time around we will be having an interlude where colleagues from the media team can either play soft music for us or play some videos while we wait for their arrival. Has he arrived?
Dr. Simeon Ewi, born in Côte d'Ivoire, is the Director General of
Today is World Food Day, a moment to reflect on the importance of food
and to renew our commitment to ending hunger everywhere.
The theme, Hand in Hand for Better Food and a Better Future,
reminds us that lasting solutions come through unity and shared responsibility.
Food is the foundation of life.
Yet far too many people still go hungry.
Our food systems are facing rising challenges,
from climate change to economic pressures and growing demand.
These challenges affect every community,
and they remind us of the urgency to act together.
Partnership is the way forward.
Farmers, researchers, governments, businesses, and communities
must unite to transform how food is produced,
distributed, and consumed.
Together, we can create food systems that are resilient, inclusive, and sustainable.
On this World Food Day,
let us stand hand in hand, working together
for better food
and a better future for everyone, everywhere.
Happy World Food Day.
Okra is a widely consumed and important vegetable in Ghana, Yet a significant portion of the harvest is lost due to its short shelf life. Nila Foods, an agribusiness startup, is addressing this challenge by transforming fresh okra into a convenient, long-lasting powdered form.
We wanted to scale up our production at Nila Foods, and one of the ways we wanted to scale up is by introducing new products, which was okra powder that most of our customers from our research suggested. But we were a bit handicapped.
Without the machines to begin production, her dream was stalled until she competed in the 2025 Post-Harvest Innovation Challenge, an intensive agribusiness development training program funded by Feed the Future Horticulture Innovation Lab for young entrepreneurs in value addition, marketing and reduction of
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, which is a very precious resource and we don't have little control over it, we will proceed with the program, and when the ministers arrive, we will give them the opportunity to speak to us. At this point, it is my pleasure and honor to invite the media team to help us start the program by giving us the national anthem of Nigeria, followed by that of the African Union. May we arise for the national anthem of Nigeria.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland.
To rise together to defend our liberty and unity. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa a tree of life. Let us all unite and sing together to uphold the bonds that frame our destiny. Let us dedicate ourselves to fight together for lasting peace and justice on earth. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life. Let us all unite and toil together to give the best we have to Africa, the cradle of mankind and font of culture, our pride and hope at break of dawn. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life.
May we be seated? Thank you. May we have our seats, those of us coming in, so we have a united house. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite the chairperson of the FARA Board of Directors, Ms. Bongiwe Njobe, to come and give us the welcome statement. A round of applause to her as she comes up.
I think it's afternoon, so good day to everybody. And allow me to stand on the protocols already established this morning to make my remarks. So, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, colleagues, and partners, let me begin by expressing our profound appreciation to the government and people of Nigeria for graciously hosting the 9th Africa Agricultural Science Week, which will be followed by the 10th FARA General Assembly here in Abuja. On behalf of the FARA Board, management, and staff, I extend special recognition to the leadership of the Federal Ministries of Agriculture and Food Security, of Livestock Development and Marine and the Blue Economy for their partnership and steadfast commitment and hard work in bringing us to this important moment. I'm also just very happy to be back in Abuja. The Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa is the apex continental body mandated to coordinate and facilitate agricultural research and innovation across the continent. As a technical arm of the African Union Commission and the African Union Development Agency, FARA mobilizes science, technology, and innovation to advance the continent's food and agricultural development goals. The goals that we advance are anchored in the Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Program, CAADP, and reinforced by the 2014 Malabo Declaration on Agricultural Growth and Transformation. The Africa Agricultural Science Week is a premier platform for dialogue on agricultural progress and innovation across the continent. It gives us space to reflect on achievements to date, exchange evidence and experience, and agree on Africa's science and innovation priorities for the next 3 years across our sub-regions and in support of implementation at the country level. Holding the 9th Africa Agricultural Science Week within the 3-year cycle is a significant achievement and reflects the effective rotation principle that FARA upholds. Despite funding constraints, rising costs, and the wider geopolitical turbulence, the commitment of our partner institutions and many individuals has really made it possible for us to gather again. So your presence here is a testament to the enduring strength of Africa's scientific community and to its unwavering dedication to advancing agri-food systems transformation. So together, we shall continue to work towards our shared vision of the Africa we want. So colleagues, we meet to discuss agri-food systems at a moment when the escalating climate crisis is reshaping the foundations of Africa's food and livelihood systems and approaches. Unpredictable weather patterns that we've all experienced and more frequent extreme events are deepening food and nutrition insecurity, increasing vulnerability among women, youth, and marginalized communities, and effectively undermining decades of development progress. These shocks are no longer episodic. They are structural and intensifying. Rising temperatures, erratic rainfall, prolonged droughts, recurring droughts, devastating floods, and rapid land and ecosystem degradation are placing unprecedented pressure on our farmers, our economies, and our nutrition outcomes. Our research and innovation agenda must therefore increase its own pace, extend its relevance, and optimize the impact that it has. It is in this context that the CAADP Kampala Declaration becomes our collective North Star. This event marks 1 year from the 10-year CAADP Kampala strategy, a bold shift from narrow agricultural lens to a holistic agri-food systems orientation. It commits us to agro-industrialization, improved nutrition, the inclusion of women and youth, and building resilience to shocks. Climate resilience must therefore be embedded in every aspect of this agenda. Science, technology, and innovation are the engines that will convert political commitments into measurable results at farm and at household level. They're the bridge between climate adaptation and economic transformation. And the core purpose of this week's discussions is precisely to convene the science, technology, and innovation actors, researchers, extensionists, universities, policymakers, producers, the private sector, and civil society. And if I've missed you out, you're going to have to tell me what to call you next time. But all of this is about achieving measurable impacts. This morning we heard about scoring the right goals, scoring goals appropriately. And I actually think that football analogy helps us focus, because we can't just have words that describe our intended outcomes. We've actually got to be very clear about what we're measuring and understand the impact that that has on the longer term agenda. At the same time, our approach in this week of engagements must be intentionally inclusive, ensuring that women and people with disabilities are not left behind, while also harnessing the youthful energy, digital skills, and entrepreneurial potential that should and can accelerate agricultural food transformation. Inclusive programming that removes physical information and financial barriers is essential to ensure that innovations and investments reach all producers in their households. The CAADP Kampala agenda's emphasis on inclusion must therefore translate into concrete measures, scoring goals that matters, gender-responsive research and extension, youth-targeted entrepreneurship, digital services absorption, and disability-inclusive outreach and financing. A crucial lever for achieving our goals will be the extent to which we build and sustain effective institutions and accountable leadership for agri-food transformation. We must collectively confront fragmented governance and weak coordination, which lead to duplication, policy incoherence, and slow decision cycles. This requires building the necessary human capacity, support systems, and institutional capacity at continental, sub-regional, and country levels, and ensuring that technical, managerial, and financial capacity are available to design, implement, and monitor complex agri-food programs, especially those that integrate STI, climate resilience, and enable private sector engagement. Addressing these challenges requires deliberate investments, therefore, in institutional capacity and professional leadership development. We need integrated policy frameworks and predictable financing mechanisms that can help us align the CAADP Kampala priorities. Apex bodies like FARA provide a critical value in this process by convening actors, harmonizing priorities, and delivering technical support that national institutions often cannot provide alone. This value includes strategic convening and knowledge synthesis, capacity strengthening and technical assistance, partnership support and development, financing facilitation, and provides a neutral platform for governance and accountability. These coordination services are indispensable for translating CAADP Kampala commitments into a national action plan, international action, and for ensuring that STI investments deliver measurable livelihood impacts. The outcomes of this week will directly inform how countries domesticate the CAADP Kampala agenda, and critically how they harness science, technology, and innovation to achieve their agri-food targets. In this regard, allow me to commend Nigeria for making continental history by being the very first African nation to operationalize and domesticate the CAADP Kampala Declaration. The launch and validation event held here in Abuja last week set an inspiration. And this is the supreme governance organ of FARA, the heart of our business and accountability mechanisms. I strongly encourage every participant to be present and to actively contribute to shaping the future governance of agri-food STI on